Okay, we're continuing with this book, The Holy Grail of Wisdom Quotes, by me, Pete Rogers. We're on letter B, Robert Briffault. And this is sort of Briffault's rule about women. And the bottom line is this. The female determines all the conditions of the animal family. When the female can derive no benefit from associating with a male, no association takes place. So what this basically means is the woman controls the family. And I've seen that, that's been my experience, that's true. And weird things happen to a guy, like when I was dating my future wife, future ex-wife, she was so eager to marry me, she'd do anything I wanted, anything. The answer was always yes, all my jokes were funny. And then as soon as she got the magic ring, like in the Lord of the Rings, all of a sudden she had power over me. I'm like, oh my God, that's what marriage does. Because as soon as you're married, the woman gets all this power because the man always wants sex more than the woman does. Okay, so she controls that. Number two, if it should go to divorce, she will come out of it much better than the man does. The system is designed to make women want divorces because the system wants more divorces. It makes more money from that. Also, it weakens society, weakens family, etc. Feminizes the children and all these things. So anyways, it puts the woman in a very strong position. Okay, so that's what happens. I joke that, your little sweet little fiance becomes your big boss. Okay. And I even joke even more than that. Quite often the man marries the woman because he's attracted to her. She marries the man because he's competent and can provide from her. And so a lot of times he's more competent than she is. And so marriage a lot of times puts the stupid person in charge of the smart person. I know it's not always like that, but a lot of times it is. And that's certainly what happened to me. Okay, anyways, I could go on and on about that. I won't even start. Let's see. Okay, so basically the woman controls the relationship. She just does. Okay, it's just a fact. All right, Ashleigh, brilliant. He said, all I want is a little more than I'll ever get. Life is the only game where the object of the game is to learn the rules. Now that's a good one. So many times in life I've screwed up, and it wasn't because I didn't try. It was because I just didn't understand the rules of the game. And if you don't know the rules of the game, you're going to have a hard time winning the game. So you want to figure them out. Most of the time, the best way to figure out the rules of the game is to talk to an older person who's experienced it before. But they're not always available. So they're usually not available. So you got to read about it. And if you're lucky, you'll find useful reading material, useful teacher or something. But gosh, countless times I screwed up because I didn't have a good advisor. I didn't know who to talk to. Okay, and when you're young, you do a lot of stupid stuff. When I was a freshman at Stanford, I was introduced to my advisor, okay? And I'm like, who the heck is this guy? And he was this big fat guy, big fat old guy. His name was Fareed Murad. And I'm like, who the hell is Fareed Murad, okay? I was thinking about wrestling, trying to have a good year on the wrestling team. And so anyways, he introduced himself to me very nicely at some biology, meeting. I never, ever once again spoke to the guy. And then on later, I became very interested in vascular disease and did specialty work in vascular disease. Turned out Fareed Murad won the Nobel Prize for discovery of the pathway of nitric oxide, the most important vasodilator in the body. So I could have been hanging around and talking to the guy who was like the Nobel Prize winner on something I was very, very, very interested in. But I was just young, kind of arrogant, and I had nobody to tell me, talk to this guy, learn something from him. I was stupid. Young people, a lot of times, are inexperienced and stupid. Okay, the next person here is Harry Browne. He lived 1933 to 2006. He said, winning an argument is of no value. What you want to do is win a convert. People who lose arguments are more likely to beef up their current convictions instead of converting to your way of thinking. The only way you can control others is to recognize their natures and to do what is necessary to evoke the desired reactions from those natures. To be able to predict the consequences depends on your ability to perceive the true identities of things and people. So the factor of truth becomes important. Yeah, in my experience, always go by what people do, not by what they say, because I see lots of people. The average stupid person goes by what people say, and they believe everything, so they're always confused. Because, most like famous people and powerful institutions, they lie all the time, nonstop. The question is, what do they actually do? What are they actually trying to accomplish? When you figure that out, then you can predict what they're doing. Okay. So now we're going to talk a little bit about perceiving truth. Harry Browne, he's pretty good on this subject. He says, you want to see things truly so that you can deal with them properly. The truth isn't an end in itself. It's always a means to an end. The purpose of knowing the truth is to be able to make it work for you. You need the truth in order to deal with things as they are and to get predictable results from them. You may want to know the truth of a particular mechanical cause and effect relationship so you can fix your car. Also, so you can fix your health. The principle is always the same. You want the truth so you can use the truth to produce a consequence that you want. Truth is information that leads to predictable results. And the test to be applied to any idea is, does it work? Okay, so anyways, this is Harry Browne from his book, How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World, which is actually a pretty good book. Okay, that's it for quotes today. Hope that was helpful.